Hi, we're going to look at how to configure Lightspeed Classroom for the first time in a school year. First thing I need to do is I need to go find the manual on this because it has some information that's going to really help me out. So I'm going to go to the help site for technology, and if you're logged into your Chromebook or the Chrome web browser, you can use your BPSD Book of Bookmarks and just pick Tech Help to go there very fast. But in any browser, you could type in bpsdtech.org and get there as well. Once you're on the Tech Help site, look for the link for Lightspeed Classroom. Here it's under Chromebooks. And once I get to that website about Lightspeed Classroom, there's a link there to the district manual. That's what I want. And when I open up that manual, which is a Google Doc, I'm going to go to page 4, which says Setting a Class Schedule. And on page 4, there's this table that has some useful interpretations of these codes in Relay Classroom and how they match up to the high school schedule. That's what I'm going to need later. So I want to leave this manual open, and in a new tab in my browser, I'm going to go open up Classroom. There's a separate video on how to log into Lightspeed Classroom. In this case, I'm just going to use the BPSD Book of Bookmarks and pick Lightspeed Classroom. And when I first invoke Classroom like this, instead of seeing my students and what they're up to in different classes, I will see that it says, welcome to your class, and wants me to configure the schedule. And what I need to do is tell it what each of these different sections inside of Classroom, what hours of the day they occur. Because you want to know when you're going to be taking over students' Chromebooks at the appropriate time. We don't want to interrupt other classes. So the first thing I would advise you do is once you're in Classroom is go over here to the left, click on that top entry so that you can see the list of your different classes, and go down through them in order by time of day. So this person has a second hour, no first hour, so I'm going to start with this 2A. You'll see there's two of these. This one at the top is usually the second semester course, and the one below it is usually the first semester course. And I want to configure all these. So I'm going to pick on this first of the 2As, and then I'm going to click on Configure Schedule. And I'm just going to figure out when during the day that is. And of course, I know that's second period, 2A. So I'm going to click on second period to select it and say Save. And that's all there is to it. Then I see the different students in that section. So now I'm going to go back to the list, pick the other 2A class, the other second hour class. This is probably first semester. Repeat by doing Configure Schedule, second period, Save. And then I'm going to go on down through the schedule. So there's second period, and then I see it jumps. These are 10, 11, 7, and 6. So I'm going to try this 6 one. Now, that can't be 6 period. If I want to figure out what that really means, I can go back up here to the tab where I had that manual open for Lightspeed Classroom, and I can see that 6 is a sophomore advisory section. That's what that really is. So this is a teacher of sophomores. So back in Classroom, I can pick on that first 6A period, and I know that's really an advisory period, as it says, so I'm going to pick this section. If it's a fourth period or an advisory or a tutorial or at lunch, I can just pick that to select it to give it the right time frame. And then I'm going to do the next advisory period the same way, configure the schedule, and pick the advisory period time. Now I've done the 6s and the 2s, it's time to get these last ones done. So I could keep going through the day by time, or I could just work my way down this list. I think I know what to do now, so I'm just going to start at 10A. And I don't know which one 10 is, so again, I can go back to this tab and look at 10 is 5th period. Okay, so I'm going to tell it that this is a 5th period class and save it. Then I'll pick the next 10A. Do the same thing, tell them that's a 5th period class and save it. And then I come to an 11. I'm reckoning that must be 6th period, but if I'm not sure, I can always cheat and look over here and say, yep, 11s are 6th period. So when I have the 11 selected, right there, I can configure that as a 6th period and save it. Another 11, set it to 6th period, save it. And then there is a 7 here, and I don't know what 7 means, so 7 is 4th period for sophomores. Okay, so on this 7, I'm just going to pick that 4th period or advisory time again. because that'll still work fine. And here's the other 7. And I'm going to configure that and say that's also during 4th period and save it. And that does it. Now, whenever I pick one of my classes during the day, if that class is actually active at the time that was set when I configure the schedule, then I'll be able to see what's going on with the kids in that class, take over their screen and various things without interrupting their use of their Chromebook in other periods.